So it is the off season, and as many longtime viewers know, that we like to explore the space a little bit. And also, I think people are fatigued about talking about trading Stefon Diggs, even though that's just still there. Now, I can already hear the comments. We're not trading anybody. We're not giving up any players. We're not doing all that stuff. But you're saying everyone has a price. So you're telling me that right now, team came in and offered 5 first-round picks for Danielle Hunter. You wouldn't be like, deuces. Right. And you would think that Danielle probably right now is the Vikings' most untradeable piece. But like you mentioned, everyone is tradable for the right price except for Kurt because he has no trade clause. God damn it, I hate that contract. Anyways, here are the Vikings' top 5 most tradable player assets. And also we have a ballpark for what you can potentially get in return. Now, again, not advocating for any of these trades, especially the top tier players. Definitely want to keep them in the fold for the myriad of reasons that we're going to talk about. But just a fun little exercise. Let's get into it. Plus, half of the reason this channel exists is just to troll people. Not gonna lie. So tradable asset number 1, IFEADI ODENIGBO. Now, first off, no, never trade IFEADI, but also if a team offers a first round pick, all right. So last year, IFEADI came back to the Vikings, busted out a 26 pressure, 7 sacks, and a rotational defensive end, defensive tackle role, and highlighted his journeyman sojourn. I guess came in as a 7th round pick out of Northwestern. Practice squad, eventually got bounced, went to Cleveland, went to Arizona, came back here with the Vikings, declined going to Philadelphia. Thank you for that, because he saw opportunity here in Minnesota, and that all panned out last year. Now, again, I don't want any of this smoke. I want IFEADI in purple for a long time. But in the scenario, say the Vikings find the cap space because there's always money in the banana stand. And they resign Everson. They resign Weatherly, which, again, probably unlikely that they keep both. And then if they do that, though, they could deem IFEADI expendable. And also there's a lot of other needs on this team. And he's certainly a very sexy trade asset because he's under contract technically for 1 more year since he came back on the 9-man roster. But now you also get an exclusive rights free agent deal where essentially the team gets to name his price and the player's like, okay. And then he has a restricted free agent year, which essentially the team names his price and the player has to be like, okay. But also there's pay escalators in that and tenders and all that other stuff. So essentially you have IFEADI ODENIGBO, who's really coming into his own, but playing at a starter level edge rusher in this league. And you get him for 3 years at a very cheap price. And also this is a very weak edge class. Like Chase Young, the Iowa Jabroni, and everyone else. A bunch of slappies, right? So it's a pretty weak edge class. So that's why IFEADI would be appealing to a lot of teams. But also all the reasons why he would be appealing in trade is all the reasons why the Vikings should keep him. So, I mean, what's the ballpark offer? Like, if a team offered up a high 3rd round pick, they'd be motivated to move IFEADI? Maybe. I'd still say no, but tradable asset number 2, Mike Boone. Running back extraordinaire. Love the 3rd year, or to be 3rd year, former UDFA out of Cincinnati. But also, I mean, he's stuck behind JALYN. He's stuck behind Alexander Madison. Last year, he did get a little bit of opportunity due to injuries. Racked up 273 yards on 49 carries, 5.6 yards per attempt, and 3 touchdowns, as well as racking up 3.3 yards per attempt after contact, which is pretty damn good for a running back his size. Now, I love him, but also a team may see a lot of value in him as well. And even though running back is such a high attrition position, the attrition of the position that a team's probably not going to be giving up a ton, but say a team really likes his potential, Mike Boone is still relatively young, and say give up a 4th rounder, you certainly have to think about it, wouldn't you? Next up, 3 more to go. So it's IFEADI, it's my Boone. Then there's a pretty precipitous drop off in terms of valuable tradable assets. So number 3, Tyler GRONKLIN, 3rd-year pro out of Central Michigan, former 5th round pick from 3 years ago. Now his role was going to be washed out since they brought in Irv Smith in the 2nd round, but also the injury to Dave Morgan saved him, because even though the Vikings are moving to heavier personnel, multiple tight ends, he thought that Tyler GRONKLIN would be 4th banana coming into the season, but David Morgan ending up on the PUP and then IR it really did open things up for Tyler Conklin. So 8 catches, 58 yards, and also was pretty active in multiple tight end sets, as well as greatly improved in his blocking game. And this isn't a great tight end class. Like this draft tight end class, like last year, was historic. I mean, when Irv Smith is the 3rd or 4th best tight end in the class, that's a pretty good tight end class. This one ain't it. So teams may be looking around to pick up some young tight ends that have shown a little bit of something. I think Conklin certainly could be in that mix. His athleticism is extremely underrated. Like we mentioned, he improved in the passing game quite a bit. And also, the Vikings do have David Morgan back because that contract told over. Morgan's back to, or Conklin, nailed it, is back to being 4th tight end on the depth chart. And also, the Vikings really love Brandon Dillon, the Marion Barbarian, coming up, who spent time on the practice squad last year. So if the Vikings could get back that 5th rounder that they spent on him, I mean, call it a wash. I would take it. Certainly would, especially since the Vikings currently without a 5th rounder because of Corey Vidvik. Last 2. Number 4, JALYN Holmes. Now, 2018 4th round pick out of the Ohio State University. I didn't really get the pick at the time because I thought that Holmes' ceiling probably could be a rotational guy at best, and he hasn't really panned out on any sort of potential despite a lot of preseason hype, notably last year where I saw that, all right, JALYN Holmes going to be the guy who steps up at 3 tech, replaces Sheldon Richardson. Did not pan out at all. And even though the Vikings need defensive interior help, Holmes is one of the reasons why they need defensive interior help, because he's simply not stepping up. And also, 6th round rookie from last year, Armon Watts, is vastly superior. So I think that he has the inside track to be a starter, or if not contributor, coming into next season. So JALYN Holmes could be on the outside looking in. Again, going to be scraping by on the bottom of the 53-man roster. Wouldn't be shocked if he's cut when they go from 90 to 53. So if you can get something for him, potentially like a 6th rounder, if it's clear that he's not going to be cutting mustard, I would take it. And lastly, stop laughing. Pat ELFLEIN. Yeah, again, stop laughing. Stop with the chuckles. Chuckle house up in here. So there is an offensive line pandemic around the league. Overall play has been plummeting. And coaches always have the ego. It's like, mama, I can change him. I can polish his turd into something salvageable. Right? And with Pat ELFLEIN, you have a starter in the league, multiple-year starter, started center for the Vikings for a number of years, then a guard, blah, blah, blah. I mean, hell, even Tom Compton got another job with the Jets in 2019, and he started like 5 games. So don't tell me that teams are not above recycling bad former starting offensive linemen. So obviously, the Vikings are going to be looked in free agency and the draft to replace him. So say you pick up Stefan Wisniewski in free agency, and say you draft either a tackle that you're fine starting at guard or a guard in day 1, day 2. And then all of a sudden, day 3 rolls around. Pat ELFLEIN is extremely expendable, and the team offers like a 6th or 7th rounder for him. We know how Spielman loves his late round picks anyway. So I would do that. I would pull the trigger on Pat ELFLEIN and finally exercise the demons. But that's it. That is our top 5 tradable Vikings value assets. I'm good with words. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know in the comment section below. Also, subscribe for daily Vikings takes. If you want to support the work, pull us up in the Venmo or hit that join button down below. Find out how you can become a monthly or platinum Jerome player. And give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skull Production.